Welcome to This Is What We Know. Today we will be discussing gun control. Hannah is for gun control while Christian is against gun control, and I am your host for today's show and the neutral party. Here's a clip from Obama's speech about the Sandy Hook elementary shooting in Connecticut.
And by that measure, can we truly say as a nation that we're meeting our obligations? Can we honestly say that we're doing enough to keep our children, all of them, safe from harm? Can we claim as a nation that we're all together there, letting them know that they're loved and teaching them to love in return? Can we say that we're truly doing enough to give all the children of this country the chance they deserve to live out their lives in happiness and with purpose? I've been reflecting on this the last few days, and if we're honest with ourselves, the answer is no. We're not doing enough, and we will have to change. Since I've been president, this is the fourth time we have come together to comfort a grieving community torn apart by mass shootings. Fourth time we've hugged survivors. The fourth time we've consoled the families of victims. And in between, there have been an endless series of deadly shootings across the country, almost daily reports of victims, many of them children, in small towns and big cities all across America. Victims whose, much of the time, their only fault was being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We can't tolerate this anymore. These tragedies must end. And to end them, we must change. We will be told that the causes of such violence are complex, and that is true. No single law, no set of laws can eliminate evil from the world or prevent every senseless act of violence in our society.
Hannah, will you tell us your position on gun control?
We need to do something with gun control soon. The shooting at Sandy Hook should not have happened. The killing of innocent children broke our country's hearts, and people were shocked to hear the news that sad day. Yet we have the hardcore NRA members that say gun control is unnecessary. They say that President Obama is trying to take away their Second Amendment right as a citizen of this free country. Obama said in October of 2012 that we're a nation that believes in the Second Amendment, and I believe in the Second Amendment. We got a long tradition of hunting and sportsmen and people that want to make sure that they can protect themselves. My belief is that we have to enforce the laws we've already got. Make sure that we keep guns out of the hands of criminals, those who are mentally ill. Obama did not say he wanted to take away everyone's guns, just the unstable people's rights, which I believe how it should be. He is responsible for the American people's safety. He has to decide what to do with the nation as a whole. The Sandy Hook shooting definitely opened people's eyes and maybe also changed a few NRA members' opinions about gun control. When innocent children are involved, things change faster, sadly. Gun control laws should have changed after the Batman premiere in Aurora, Colorado. That guy was seeing a therapist for his mental health issues before the shooting. Mental health is a big issue when it comes to mass shootings. According to a National Review Online, a lengthy study by Mother Jones's magazine found that at least 38 of the 61 mass shootings in the past 3 decades displayed signs of mental health prior to the killings. That is over 50%. Why would anyone, even the NRA, be against taking away the Second Amendment rights from anyone who has mental issues? I think some gun control action is in order. A background check should be necessary. I believe to keep the mentally unstable people from easily purchasing guns. It wouldn't keep them from buying guns in the black market, however. But I think a little gun control is better than none. If background checks are what is required, then the sane people should not be worried about passing the test. It's such a minor thing to cause so much drama about and would not even take that long. It would be helping the safety of the American people.
Christian, what is your response to what Hannah said?
What happened at Sandy Hook was a tragedy. However, to discuss your reasons for gun control, Hannah, in the state of Minnesota, people with felony convictions are not allowed to own firearms of any kind. The state also requires background checks, as almost all states do, to purchase firearms. If a felon attempted to purchase a firearm, they would not pass the background check. As for mentally ill people not owning a weapon, how do you propose to register them? How do you classify people as mentally ill? If you are to recall, the Newtown shooter didn't own any firearms. They were registered to his law-abiding mother.
Yes, but if his mother was in care of him and he was mentally unstable and seeing a therapist, then there are no guns allowed in the household. His mother is choosing to have him in her care. Even if she is a law-abiding citizen, there should be no guns in the house. As to classifying mentally unstable people, I believe that anyone who is seeing a therapist for mental issues or had medications for a mental issue, or anyone that is hinted at the idea of doing something along the lines of shooting anyone should have the right taken away from them.
Christian, do you have a response to that?
A person's right to own a firearm should not be decided by the mental state of a member of their family. The Second Amendment guarantees law-abiding citizens the right to bear arms. As for a person on a medication for a mental illness, this does not mean that they are unstable and they should not have their fundamental rights removed. Disclosing health information to some degree would be a violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, also known as HIPAA.
Those are both good points. In 2008, 10,886 murders were committed with firearms. Christian, we will start with you. What is your viewpoint on this?
Murders are considered violent crimes. In the state of Virginia, firearm sales are up 73% since 2006, and violent crimes using firearms have declined more than 27% during the same time period. This study was conducted by Thomas Baker, who is a professor at the Virginia Commonwealth University. Having firearms does not mean the person who owns them is going to become violent and murder people. Did the study ever look at how many of those 10,886 murders were committed by people who lawfully attained the firearms and were legally able to possess them? Many violent crimes are committed by people who attain firearms unlawfully, and law-abiding citizens should not have their rights revoked because of the actions of criminals.
Hannah, your response?
Christian. With mass shootings, more than 3/4 of the 142 guns in the killer's possession were obtained legally. Firearms don't make people violent, true, but they are a weapon and people use them to cause harm.
Gun control is not just about mass shootings. Mass shootings are tragic, and many of these people who commit these heinous crimes are mentally unstable, to which we need to look at our mental health care system instead of gun control, because if they wanted to destroy lives and cause as much damage as possible, guns are the least of our concerns. There are other weapons mass shooters could have used to cause damage and inflict pain and heartache to many people. The means of violent crimes are not the problem. The reason behind them is the problem, but the focus is on controlling the means they happen to choose at that time, which is avoiding the ultimate problem and will not solve issues in the long term. The Second Amendment is a right all law-abiding citizens are given. No one, not even the government, has the right to take that right away. If you pass these laws and take away the right to bear arms, what is going to happen when the glass breaks in your house in the middle of the night? The police don't have enough time to get to your house before someone is killed. Who would you blame? The police, the intruder, or those who took away your right to protect yourself and your family? If that situation were to happen right now in my house, I have the ability to use all means in my possession to protect my family. Guns are used 2.5 million times a year in self-defense. Law-abiding citizens use guns to defend themselves against criminals as many as 2.5 million times every year. or about 6,850 times a day. This means that each year, firearms are used more than 80 times more often to protect the lives of honest citizens than it is to take lives.
I never said the Second Amendment right should be taken away from law-abiding citizens. I agree with the President Obama that guns should be taken away from mentally unstable people. They can't think for themselves properly, and you want to hand them a gun, basically. They usually don't live alone either, so if someone is their caretaker and choosing to do so, should not have guns available in that household for the mentally unstable person. It would have nothing to do with mentally stable people. It would not affect them at all. They can conceal and carry and have guns in their house as much as they please, but taking away mentally unstable people's right to the Second Amendment would be a precautionary step that would save lives.
Thank you, Hannah and Christian, for sharing your viewpoints on the issue of gun control. That's all we have for today. Please tune in next week for This Is What We Know. Source information found from MotherJones.com, JustFacts.com, NationalSafetyCouncil.org, and HuffingtonPost.com.